Alright, hello again, Godzilla. What if Deku was Godzilla Part 2? Tell me if you guys want to keep seeing this series. I will do more if wanted. So, we left off with the sludge filling incident, and All Might inviting Uraraka and Deku to go clean the garbage on the beach. I'm gonna say, since Deku wasn't bullied for trying to become a hero, he is actually very muscular, so is Ochako. Because they've been doing training. So they both arrived at 9 a.m. And All Might explains from One for All, and he wants it to pass to pass it on, pass it on to both of them. Deku does the same, Marin. How's that possible? One second, let me close curtain. Perfect. Alright, so Deku does the same thing. Ochako also does the same thing because she's also just as confused. So All Might just shouts, "Stop nerding out, you two." They snap back to reality, and All Might says, "For your training, I can already tell you're already ready for One for All. My quirk, if you weren't ready, your head, your arms and legs would blow off of your body, but you won't be able to use 100% at one time. So we'll still do the same training, so you can use more percent of your power. I would say you guys would be able to use about 15% of One for All. So if you do use 100%, it will break your arm. But in your state, young Midoriya, when you're in your Godzilla form, or as Godzilla form, as you call it, you sort of, your defense skyrockets, doesn't it? Deku says, I was able to withstand 8 C4s when this happened when they had the quirk test, because why not? And without even a scratch. When I was 5. All Might is shocked by this, thinking he might be able to take 100% of One for All. Especially since he's done a lot more training now. But All Might says, clean the beach without your quirk. They say okay. It only takes them about 2 months because there's 2 of them, and Deku and Uraraka are quite muscular in this version. So at the end, they're ready for about, I would say, 50% of One for All at their max. Well, Ochako is, but Deku's able to use 80% without even hurting himself because of his armor. But this massively boosts up their quirk. So Deku's able to transform into a 250-meter Godzilla. And Ochako is able to lift that, which is probably like over 100,000 tons, so they're both pretty OP. And Deku finally figures out how to use atomic breath. Because with a new skill, All Might again is shocked by this. Just by the heat of that blast, and we're not even in the direct side of it, and it's like 80 degrees. So if we were in the direct line of fire of that could kill people. That could melt through a city. All Might says, wow, his quirk might even be stronger than One For All, but them together. Since they both have quirks, the reason Deku didn't figure out full cowling to spread it across his whole body was because he didn't have a quirk, he didn't know how to use one. But since they both had quirks, they did that. And they tested that out. And they learned this in the first 5 months. So, the next 5 months, I'm gonna have... So, 3 months will be Deku and Uraraka's original training. Deku trying to push his limits to grow taller, and Uraraka trying to lift that. And by the end of that, Deku is 300 meters tall. Because they trained a lot harder. And I forgot to mention, Deku looks like Godzilla 2019 in this. That's his, form. I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a spoiler for Deku's abilities in the future. He's gonna be able to transform into different Godzillas. But the first one, actually no, his form will be Godzilla 2014. And Godzilla will Deku will learn all the other Godzillas and how to transform into them. And Uraraka is one of the most powerful characters in the anime along with Deku. So those two are the top of their class. I'm gonna say Uraraka learned a new move. Well, she learned 2 new moves. She can decrease gravity, heighten gravity, so it's higher. Not for the whole Earth, just for a certain area. But this takes a lot of stamina to do. And the other one is objects she floats. She can move them around and throw them at pretty high speeds. So, yeah. So, they go in, they're about to... Deku can stand 85% of One For All and Uraraka 65%. So, yeah. They're a lot more confident in themselves. Also, Deku can control how tall he is. in his Godzilla form. The lowest he can go is 25 meters, though. So, yeah. Sorry, I got distracted there for a minute. I am back in reality. So, in the entrance exam, Deku doesn't fall. He's very much more confident. It's not really relevant because he's already met Uraraka, and that was the only relevant thing about it. So, they walk in, Deku still mutters a bit, Ida calls him out. He didn't know, but Deku also gets angry when he calls him out, and anger also triggers his transformation a bit. So, Deku stands up and grows about 3 meters. Ida says, "That's not very heroic using your quirk in here." Deku snaps back to reality, saying, "Anger makes my quirk activate." Ida says, "Oh, I am sorry about that. I guess it really was my fault." But Anita says, "Please stop muttering, though." Deku says, "Fine." Deku is Godzilla, I'm gonna say, is in his head, and in the entrance, the start, when he was walking into UA, for the entrance exam, he heard Godzilla speak in his head. "The power you possess, it is not your own. It is mine. When your mother died, it was by me, not on purpose. But I was Godzilla. I was millions of years old, maybe even billions. I lost count a while ago. I was a massive kaiju. That's what they called monsters back then. You were about 3 years old. But when I was dying and I had too much radiation, I was going over to the nuclear meltdown. Your mother was unlucky enough to get in the way of that and died. You did not. Your old quirk was immunity to radiation and lizard-like features. But when I exploded, all the radiation burst out, giving you the radiation and transforming your quirk into this. My name was Godzilla. The Japanese called me Gojira. If you don't believe me, you can search me up. I was awakened about 100 years ago by nuclear testing from humans. My spirit has been in your head. I am your power. I'm also extremely intelligent for being alive for billions of years. Godzilla says. Deku's like, "Okay, boomer." I'm kidding. But he's like, "Okay." Because images of Godzilla start appearing in his head, and he sort of he believes Godzilla. "So I will help you out in this intelligence test." Deku is a bit smarter than he is in canon, but with Godzilla's help, he easily becomes first place. that can also take control of your body if you let me. But other ways. You've grown way stronger, way bigger than me. I was around 100 meters. I didn't know that I possessed the power to try and grow larger. Well, I did know, but I had to bathe in radiation. But your quirk seems to emit radiation when you try and grow, forcing you to grow bigger. So, you're a lot bigger than me, because if you try, you can constantly get bigger. It does take a toll on you, though. It takes stamina for you to grow bigger. But also, every meter you grow, it gives a tremendous boost in your power. Especially with that, what do you call it, quirk? One for all? That boosts my power tremendously. When you die, your power gets transferred to another being, transforming you into, well, what you are right now. They have to have a radiation-proof quirk, though. Believe it or not, about 10% of the population, 10% of people in Japan, or 1% of people in Japan, have radiation-proof along with their quirk. You were one of them. Sadly, your mother was not. And she didn't possess the lizard-like traits inside of you. So you were very rare for me. Otherwise, I had to pick one, and with my meltdown, I couldn't. But luckily, you absorbed it. My spirit and radiation. Frick. That suck. Stupid timer. Ruining, ow. Frick. Alright, so I'm gonna say 5 minutes left. Alright. So, as this happened, and so they passed the practical test, no, the intelligence part, and with first place easily beating Yaomomo. So. And they beat it in around 5 minutes, getting perfect and everything, and even recorrecting Principal Nezu on 2 questions, making him the smartest person to ever attend UA. Without an intelligence quirk, of course. And when the practical exam came, Uraraka and Deku walked up to they walked to the gate together. Uraraka was just a bit more not as nervous, but Deku calmed it down, and Ida couldn't really stop it. As they yelled go, they both power up to 30% of One for All, full cowling, and speed off faster than Ida. Well, Shako does that, but Deku doesn't. He waits for everyone to go past him, and then transforms into a 25 meter, actually no, a 20 meter kaiju, which dwarfs everyone, but then he also goes 30% of One for All on top of that, which makes him fast, not as fast as Ochako because he's so big, but still quite fast, faster than Ida. So nobody could barely see him move, except for Ochako, because the One for All enhances her, everything physical. And he gets ahead of everyone using 60% of one for all. Faster than Ochako could see. About 100 meters ahead of him. Deku starts to get bigger until he was, 150 meter kaiju. So basically, some people couldn't even get past. Like most people couldn't get past. Ida did by climbing a building. Ochako just jumped to a building and then jumped past Deku. But even transforming gave Izuku, I'm gonna say, 300 points. Ochako gets nervous and freezes for a second. Thinking about something. Until the robot's foot is right above her. She didn't realize until she turned around and she was frozen in shock, screaming. Deku heard this, came over and transformed to the most overpowered state he has. 85% one for all, 300 meters. Which he grabbed the robot head and threw him into the atmosphere. Right back. Actually, I'm back, but he didn't throw him he didn't throw the 0 point into the atmosphere. He threw him about 500 meters up. And then powered up to his biggest atomic blast he's ever had. And it disintegrated it. And then he shrunk down into a 25 meter, grabbing Ochako. And going to Recovery Girl, which since he's even more of a hero nerd, he knows her and her quirk. So he goes over and hands Ochako to her. And Deku getting about 800 points. But Principal Nezu, seeing how easily he destroyed a 0 pointer, he sets off. Before Deku got to Recovery Girl, I'm gonna say he lets off a 0 pointer, which is 100 meters tall this time. A bigger 0 pointer, because I believe the last one is only like 25 meters tall. So we got a 100 meter one. Saying this, Deku pushes his limits to the maximum he can go without going into rage mode, which is 350 meters. And he just threw him like it wasn't even funny. This man literally threw him up in the air and did a red spiral beam. This man disintegrated. Nezu again is shocked by this and just gives up. He doesn't have a robot that big. Nezu gives Deku 50 more points for defeating that thing. And the exam's over. They straight up, before Deku left. Oh yeah, Uraraka, I'm gonna say, got 400 points. They just came up to Deku and Uraraka and they just gave them the acceptance letter and uniform. And says, coming next week Friday or something. I don't know when they started. They come back next week, you know, in their uniforms. But Deku isn't small in his, like, small Godzilla form. Because he's, like, his base form, it looks like Godzilla 2014 as well. He isn't small in that form. He's around 8 meters tall. And I'm gonna say Ochaku is not 8 meters tall, Jesus, 5 meters tall. Nah, I'll go 4 meters. That's pretty good. So they just had to get this giant 4 meter tall uniform. And a giant desk and seat. And Bakugo says, because Bakugo got there before Deku, and says, whose fat ass is gonna sit in that chair, man? Because if so, they're fat, dude. And Deku opens the door, and Bakugo just says, I see. Because Bakugo is actually quite scared of Deku. They sit down and wait for class to begin. But before that, well, Deku and Uora, I'm going to say Ida comes up to Deku and says, you did really good. How many points did you get? Deku says, oh, me, I got 930 points. I said it was 850 points he got originally, but plus 80 rescue points. So he's 930. I beat All Might's record easily. All Might's record was only 200. And then I also got first place in the intelligence and practical. Ida is shocked and saying, what? Apparently, they said to me I'm the best student, the smartest and strongest student ever attended UA. Well, I applaud you? Bakugo says, Bakugo didn't hear any of this. They were in separate testing grounds. He thought he got better than Deku. He didn't know he's been training. Bakugo's been training viciously. Very hard. To the point where when he last saw Deku, he was stronger than Deku when he last saw him. But Deku's fourfold stronger than he was when he last saw him, which was 10. He's been avoiding them ever since. So Bakugo didn't think, oh, I'm way stronger than that nerd now. So, we're gonna leave this off now. Goodbye.